Hey guys, today I want to go over something that a lot of you have been asking me about, and that is crosshair placement. Now, crosshair placement, of course, is a very important aspect of CSGO, and even if your aim is not 100% that day, well, your crosshair placement can help you out there and make it so it kind of combines with your reaction times rather than full-on aim, making flick shots all the time and that kind of thing. So first and foremost, I see a lot of new players sort of running around like this with their crosshair on the ground. If they see a person, they have to stop, bring their crosshair all the way up, and then make the shot. And of course, that is very, very, very bad, because by then, you're probably going to be dead. Because, well, it may not seem like it, but that's a lot of time to stop, react, bring your crosshair up, and then shoot. So you always want to keep your crosshair sort of at head level, you know? So if you're coming around here, you see a guy, you can shoot him. Coming around here, you see a guy, you can shoot him. So you always want to keep it at head level, even when, especially with pistols, because even while running, that first shot is almost 100% accurate, as you can see. Pretty much lands almost right where my crosshair dot is there. It's a little bit off, but it's still very, very accurate for the first shot with a pistol. Now with an AK or an M4, or pretty much any other kind of gun, you pretty much have to stop and then shoot. You know, okay, go boop. But that's first step to making sure you have proper crosshair placement. Now the second step, now there's sort of two sides to this. There's a style where you can kind of pre-aim at the corner and then shoot where you think they're going to be. And that is okay if you know 100% for a fact. Say you have a teammate playing in Boiler here, you know he's watching like this, so you know for a fact that there's not going to be a player in this corner here. You know 100% that no one's going to be there, no possible way that they're going to be there. Then it's okay to do sort of the pre-fire sort of aiming like this. But let's say you don't have anybody covering Boiler right here. What you want to do, you don't want to do sort of the pre-aiming at the corner. You don't want to aim through the wall. Instead, you want to bring your crosshair a little bit out from the wall, so one, you're not shooting the wall, and two, you have like sort of a reaction time window there. But what you want to do, sort of follow the edge of the wall so that you're exposing sort of parts of the angle rather than the entire thing, you know? So rather than going like this, you don't know if there's a guy there, you don't have anybody watching your balcony, not your balcony, excuse me, your quad there. You don't know where they are. You don't want to pre-aim at this corner, because what if they're right there? You know, you pop out like this, gotta drag your crosshair all the way over, and then you gotta shoot. And once again, the same problem with this sort of aiming. Gotta bring it up like that. You're going to have to sort of rely on a flick shot, and your aim may not be 100% that day, so you kind of want to follow the contour of the wall. Kind of creep out, clear the angles like that, you know? Should be sort of one smooth motion. Once again, keeping a little bit away from the wall so you can get a little bit of reaction time. Keep it with the angle of the wall, you know? Coming like this. Oh no, there's a guy there. Oh no, there's a guy there. Oh no, there's a guy there. Oh no, and oh no. I was actually aiming at the bellier there, but you get the picture, you know? Always keep it the contour of the wall. And once again, if you do have a teammate playing in quad here, watching your angle right here, completely okay to kind of pre-fire like this. You know, same thing over here. If you have somebody watching pit, you know, you can kind of pre-fire like this or whatever. You know, you have a guy watching, I don't know. Let's say you're coming into here, but you have a guy in library here watching this angle. You know, they can't necessarily see into Speedway there. You have somebody watching this angle. You know they're not going to be there because that person is there. You can definitely go like this. But if you're clearing it, you know, you're walking along here, trying to be sneaky. Once again, keep with the corner of the wall so you can kind of compensate if somebody's unexpectedly playing there. You gotta sort of prepare for the unexpected, you know? You don't want to be making flick shots all the time. You don't want to be like this and have to, oh, correct, because one, you have to make a flick shot, and two, you have to kind of make micro adjustments, and that's where the sort of the lower sensitivity kind of comes in play. So if we go into keyboard and mouse settings here, you know, let's say your sensitivity is all the way up here. You have a pretty high sensitivity. I'm at 800 DPI, so this is a lot more than Some players would, wow, I couldn't even hit that bell, but, you know, you have to, oh, and then do that, you know, you kind of have to rely on the micro adjustments. If you're finding yourself having to go like this and then sort of slowly kind of make those adjustments, your sensitivity is too high. Alternatively, or additionally, excuse me, if you're finding it difficult to keep at the corner of the wall, you know, you kind of have to keep going like this, find yourself going like this a lot. Your sensitivity, geez, it's a hard word to say, but yeah, your sensitivity is a little bit too high. You can sort of toy with dropping it a notch, just one notch or whatever, 1 decimal point. Even that's a little bit too high. I keep it at like 0.8, around 0.8, 0.9, maybe around 1 at the most. You just kind of got to find the correct sensitivity for you. So if you're finding it difficult to keep your crosshair in place, once again, try downing your sensitivity. It doesn't have to be like, you know, your sensitivity is at like 2, but oh, it's hard for me to keep it at that place. I'm gonna go all the way down to 1. You know, no, you don't have to do that. Just kind of drop it 1 notch at a time, or even if it's at like 2, try dropping it to like 1.8 or something. You know, just keep going down and down and getting used to that sensitivity and going down gradually until you can sort of keep with that. I mean, it's a pretty huge difference between 1 and 2. You never want to make a huge jump, and if you do, just hop into DM for a while, and then you can kind of adjust to it like that, get used to it. But it's definitely something you gotta keep in mind. So once again, always follow the corner of the wall where, you know, is going to be visible. Don't always rely on pre-aiming. I mean, again, if you know 100% that there's not going to be a play here because somebody is watching that angle, then sure, you can pre-fire. But if you're kind of creeping around, it's a 1v1, you know, clear the area like that instead of having to make those flick shots like that or something. You know, you clear it like this, oh, you know, just always keep your crosshair where they're going to be. Never want it to be in like floating in the middle of nowhere. Where's a good example here? You know, you don't want to be, this is a bad math I guess for that, but you don't want to be sort of in the middle of nowhere here. You don't want to be like peeking corner like this and then dragging it over. You always want it to be where a player could be, along the corner of the wall. And then there could be a player there. You never want to have to make those micro adjustments because your aim is not going to be 100% all the time. You know, you could be a little bit tired that day or something, or it could just be an off day, you didn't warm up or something. You never want to have to rely on flick shots because you're not going to hit them all the time. But that's basically the gist of it. Just kind of keep with the contour of the wall, you know? Clear it like that. And then you can kind of go like that. And then the minecart. You'll see a lot of pros do this as well, you know? They kind of peek it like this. And then they can kind of kill a person that's at a corner. And they don't have to make those micro adjustments, you know? I've cleared this angle while I'm doing that. And then I can kind of clear that angle. I come up here. This one's a little bit tricky because you kind of have to clear this while clearing that. I mean, it's not going to be perfect all the time, you know, you're exposing yourself, but if you're coming up like this, you can see like that. And then you can bring your crosshair around here, clear that. Bring your crosshair around here. You know, keep a flow with the wall. You're one with the wall, you know? Like so. It's very, very fluid motion. Once again, if you're finding yourself having to keep going like this, make kind of a bunch of sweeping motions to kind of do it. Your sensitivity, I cannot say that word today, is a little bit too high. You know, keep with a steady flow. You know, then you sort of follow the corner of the wall. I mean, you never want to have to make those micro adjustments. So I feel like I'm starting to ramble on a little bit here, but I hope this video sort of cleared up the, I guess, crosshair placement issues some of you may be having, you know. And if it doesn't make any sense, once again, kind of keep with the corner. You always want to be sort of following the flow of the wall. This is a game about flow. You know, think about it this way. Always keep your crosshair placement in a way that you're not having to make those adjustments. And anyways, I hope this sort of helped some of you guys with the crosshair placement you have been asking about. You know, how should I be aiming? How should I be taking corners? And as always, thank you very much for watching. and see you next time.